Hello everyone, this is part 2 of a video series of what the heck is cryptocurrency. Today we're going to focus on blockchains. Blockchains are basically the systems that banks use in order to transfer goods and money over to another entity when you're paying for things and things like that. So when we're talking about cryptocurrencies, essentially blockchain is what is that particular system that banks use, to send it over to another entity. And also it's also like your bank statements that you get every month. So the only difference is that your bank statement isn't private, like you go ahead and send it over. Now you in particular, your the fact that you sent the money, it does not have your name or anything like that. That is completely private. But the fact that someone transferred, let's say, 100 coins over to another person because maybe they need to pay for something, that is actually in the ledger. It's just anonymously, here it is, this particular item, particular amount of coins was sent to another individual. That's basically what it is. It keeps track of everything. It's publicly stated. So anytime money is transferred to another person, no matter what that particular amount, it will always be public. Whoever does it, anyone in the entire world. Now, you in particular, the fact that you sent it to somebody, you are still protected. That's where the crypto part comes in. So basically, to break that down a little further, is that you, the single person, you who owns the coins, you are private. No one knows that you sent the coins. But the fact that coins were sent is public knowledge, because there's only a certain amount of coins out in circulation. A lot of these different coins, like for example Bitcoin and Litecoin, they have a certain amount of coins that will ever be released. There will be no other coins released. So because of that, the goal is to try to keep track of all, for example, 37 million coins. You always know all 37 million coins that are in circulation, always, all the time. And that's basically what the blockchain is. The blockchain, excuse me. Now there's a downside to this. There's a downside. The downside is that a lot of the Bitcoins that you're hearing about on TV, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and things like that, but especially Bitcoin is using Generation 1 blockchain technology. So basically, it takes a really long time to transfer money from one person to another person now. Initially, it could take, for example, in the beginning, it will be able to send out, I think it can do 4 transactions per second. It can do something like that. But obviously, the whole entire world is looking at Bitcoin right now. So you got way more than 4 transactions per second going on. So at times with Bitcoin, it could take up to 4 hours to transfer from one person to another. Number one, and then number two, besides that, not only does it take 4 hours to transfer, the transfer fees are ridiculous. So for example, right now you could have, let's say $40 in Bitcoin. Let's just say you got $40 in Bitcoin, and you're like, oh, I got $40. I bought it on Coinbase. I want to get right into action. I want to get some of this money because I see Bitcoin every week. It's on the up and up. So even if you only put $40 in on Monday, on Friday, your $40 could turn into $45. Like, it's that crazy. Like, you can own just a piece of a Bitcoin, pay $40, get $40 of, so basically you're just getting a slice of that one Bitcoin, and the value of it rises up so fast that you immediately get a return on investment of $5 on that 45. So you're like, oh, okay, this is pretty good. I got my return on investment. I put $40 in. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden you're like, all right, it went from 45 to 55. Then you're like, oh man, this is really, really good. I'm really excited. Then next thing you know, that for a few weeks, Bitcoin's been on a downturn because it's very volatile. So, that means that it could be super, super high and then it can get super, super low. But overall, year to date, it still keeps skyrocketing. But let's just say you're somebody who's very concerned about that. You're like, oh no, I don't want to miss none of this. I got my little profit. I'm trying to keep my profit. I ain't trying to give my profit back to nobody. So I'm going to sell. Okay. You're like, okay, I'll sell. So now you get ready to go sell your coins. And then all of a sudden you notice that the fee to sell your coins is $10. So now you're like, wait a minute, I made $15, profit off of my coin. Now you're telling me I gotta give you $10 of my profit in order for you to give me all my money back? Give me my money back, send it to my bank and stuff? Yes. And the reason why is because it takes so long for Bitcoin to finish that transaction, because there's so many transactions going on that in order to push you up the priority list, you got to pay that extra money. That's the only way. So you have to actually pay. So you end up losing a lot of your profit doing it that way. Now there are other coins where you don't have to worry about that issue so much. Like for example, there's a coin called ADA, which is Cardano, which is the one that I particularly I'm looking at long. That's the one where my goal is to have a certain set amount, sit on it, and then forget about it, like that. That particular one doesn't cost that much. In order to transfer, for example, if I had $50, worth of coins and I wanted to sell it, I have to go through a couple of hoops, to sell it. But if I wanted to sell it, it wouldn't be much of a problem like that. I could sell it and it'll probably cost me, let's say if I had $25, it would probably cost me about 50 cents. That's what would be my transaction fee, like that. And but that's because it's on a different blockchain, and that blockchain that Cardano is on is much faster. It's much faster because it's not a generation 1 blockchain like Bitcoin is. It is a new, faster, much more advanced blockchain that is peer reviewed. It is supported by multiple universities, and it has the support of the entire world, where we have all of our top scientists and mathematicians. They actually created this blockchain because they wanted a blockchain that could essentially replace the dollar, where people will no longer have to worry about inflation with the dollar. They could just use ADA coins. So there could be a day where you're getting paid, instead of saying, oh, my paycheck this week was $500, instead of saying something like that. I know, that's what I'm on. But $500, instead you could be like, it was 500 ADA coins. I got paid 500 ADA, 88. That is something that could possibly happen. That's the crazy thing about it. Not this year, not next year, but you're talking about 2020, 2021. There is a possibility that the economy could shift to that point. It could even take a few more years after that. 2023, 2024, it could shift to that point. And the reason why is to try to fight hyperinflation, and a slew of other things. This isn't no end times like, oh, the dollar is going to disappear. No, the dollar's not going to disappear. The government has to actually approve of getting rid of their dollar, and you being like, okay, I want to use one of these coins. Just as a side note, the government is actually creating their own Bitcoin to replace the dollar. Just in case you didn't know, the Federal Reserve is actually looking into that, and they're actually researching it because as a little side note, a lot of people don't know that it costs a bank almost $3.50 every time they send money over across the country. Every single time, it costs them a lot of money. For Wall Street, when they're transferring money every year, the transaction fees are nearly $6 billion. So just by transitioning that money to the coins, so for example, let's say I owe you $20 and I need to send it to you, and I use Walmart Money Center, and I'm sending it to you via MoneyGram or something. Well, instead of using MoneyGram, I can send it to you via Walmart, and they'll take my $50 I'm gonna send you. They'll turn it into $50 worth of coins, and then when you come to pick it up, they'll turn it back into $50. Guess how much Walmart just had to pay to send those coins? Me and you and Walmart had to pay nothing, absolutely nothing, like that, because the coins themselves, it just digitizes the money. It digitizes the money, and I can't say nothing. It's about 5 or 6 cents, but that's a big drop from $3.50 per transaction. So basically, that's what a blockchain is, and that's the most important part of the cryptocurrency is the blockchain. First is the blockchain, then it's the actual coins you hear about on TV talking about, oh, there's a Bitcoin, it's $18,000, everyone's freaking out, yada yada, blase blase, and that's really it. I'll be posting more videos about it, basically about this Bitcoin, just the coins, cryptocurrency in general, because a lot of people that I know do not know anything about it. They hear about it on TV, and they don't know how to get into it. They don't know what it is. They keep hearing people making money off of it, and they're like, well, how can I get in? I don't want this opportunity to pass me by. So I'll be continuing posting videos about it through this little series, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.